Wednesday, the 18th of February, and Gong Si Fa Chai for those people who are celebrating Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year very late this year, the end of February into early March. That has an impact on some of the stories we're doing later. Now, this video is primarily aimed at people who come to Thailand as tourists, especially those that are concerned about the proposed reduction of the visa exemption from 60 days back to 30 days. Hasn't happened yet, and we don't know if it will. So let's just be a bit calm about this, because at the end of the video I'm going to talk about how you can come to Thailand for 6 months under a tourist visa. So more about that later, but let's go to the current situation. And we start here with this Bangkok Post story. Foreign arrivals down 7.6% so far this year. It talks about the 7.6% year-on-year drop of tourism from January the 1st to February the 15th. Those dates are important. And China was the biggest source market, a long way ahead of Malaysia, which last year was leading the way in tourist arrivals to Thailand. At the moment, China's way ahead for 2026. And Thailand's state planning agency expects foreign visitors to rise to 35 million this year. Putting that into perspective, there were 33 million foreign tourists last year, and they keep on reminding us about that 2019 total of nearly 40 million tourists. But just to throw a bit of confusion in, Nation Thailand reporting that the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism and Sports revealed that foreign tourist arrivals in Thailand have consistently increased since 2025. It says currently the country is seeing over 130,000 tourists per day. And that post made yesterday, which was the first day of the Chinese New Year for 2026. And the reason that's interesting is because when they measured the tourism numbers between January the 1st and February the 15th, last year that included Chinese New Year, whereas this year, Chinese New Year being much later, we did have lower numbers of tourism during that first 5 or 6 weeks. So I think the Chinese New Year numbers have had a lot to do with it, given that this suggests that the numbers are now up to 130,000 arrivals per day. But before we check out that 6-month tourism visa, Bangkok Post says tourism's two-speed economy. And it says that tourism's a key industry for Thailand, but over the past decade it's faced a critical challenge: income disparity, with a sharp divide between a handful of major destinations and second-tier locations. And this is a consistent theme that's been developing about that top 4 or 5 locations where tourists just keep on coming back each year. They keep on posting about it. So people go, oh, I'll go there. And the second-tier locations just continue to suffer without a lot of publicity. And then it says the TAT recognised the imbalance, introduced a scheme back in 2018, separating 22 major provinces from 55 second-tier ones, to grant privileges aimed at boosting less popular destinations, such as tax deductions for travel expenses. Maybe for the local people, but I don't think there was any such promotion to foreign tourists for those second-tier provinces. So let's just check some of these stats. And the provinces with the highest tourism, of course you've got Bangkok, Phuket, Chonburi, which would basically equal Pattaya, Suratani, which would include the 3 islands of Koh Samui, Koh Tao and Koh Phangan, and then Chiang Mai. Provinces with the lowest tourism revenue, and you've got Singburi, Mahasarakam, Yasathon, Nonbua Lampu and Amat Charon. And you can go through the entire graphic at your leisure at the Bangkok Post. But the sharpest decline in occupancy rates last year, Sakao, which is on the Thai-Cambodian border, Songkhla, which is down south, Ubon Ratchathani in the northeast, Bangkok a bit down, Phuket a bit down. As usual, following these tourist numbers, we get to see the trends, where people are going, where they're not going. So it is interesting from that point of view. I said during November, December and January, from my visits to Phuket, particularly to the airport, suggested that Phuket was going to have a bumper high season. Now, we don't have the final numbers to prove that, but anecdotally, going to the airport, huge numbers of flights arriving. Never seen the airport quite so busy, and over those 3 months we did get the highest numbers of arrivals of planes into the Phuket airport. So I think Phuket did have a very good high season, even though across the country the numbers of tourists have dropped that first 6 weeks in January and early February, down 7.6%. And revenue from the top 5 provinces accounted for about 70% of the total, while the top 10 provinces made up about 81%, leaving the remaining 67 provinces to share just 18.7%. And then just to sharpen that pencil, Bangkok earned 899 billion baht, and that's roughly 1,923 times, hardly roughly, the 468 million baht generated by Amnat Charon. And then in top destinations such as Phuket and Bangkok, income from foreign visitors accounts for 92 and 69% respectively, while most secondary provinces rely almost entirely on lower value domestic spending. And then a partly related story, I'll get to this in detail one day, from the Bangkok Post. Phuket tourism operators oppose the government's policy allowing foreigners who buy real estate valued at 3 million baht to qualify for a long-stay visa, arguing that the investment threshold is too low and could attract non-quality visitors who may engage in illegal activities, as well as risking an increase in property prices, making housing less affordable for local residents. So you can read more about that story at the Bangkok Post. A lot of people are interested in this, partly because a lot of influencers have jumped on it, sort of switched the story around on things like TikTok and Instagram, saying that you can live in Thailand long term if you buy a condo. Well, it's not quite as simple as that, and it's a video that I'll make separately to this. It's talking about the long-term resident visa. There are 5 different categories. One of the categories is investment, and you are required to buy a condo valued at least 3 million baht. There's a lot of empty condos, especially up in places like Bangkok at the moment, and I'm sure the real estate industry would like to get rid of some of their stock. But yes, you can do that. I'll go into that in more detail on a separate video. But let's go to the tourists who are coming here for a shorter period of time, the people who have been coming on the visa exemption. That means they arrive in Thailand without any pre-approval and they get stamped in at the moment for 60 days. A proposal to reduce that down to 30 days hasn't happened yet. You can still stay in Thailand if you want, even if they pass this, for 60 days by pre-applying for a tourist visa. And that will guarantee you 60 days in Thailand with an opportunity to apply for a 30-day extension, total of 90 days. There is also the multiple entry tourism visa, and that lasts for 6 months. So let's go to the details on this briefly. You can go to Google and ask the same question, and you can find all this information in much greater detail on your country's Royal Thai Embassy website. But basically, Thailand's tourist visa options primarily include a single entry 60-day stay and a multiple entry 6-month validity, which is a 60-day stay per entry, and both are extendable for 30 days. And then it reminds us that the digital arrival card, the TDAC, is required for entry, required for any foreigner coming to Thailand at the moment in that 3-day window before your arrival in Thailand. And these 2 visas are applied as e-visas online. You'll need a passport valid for at least 6 months, proof of funds, generally a bank statement showing at least 20,000 Thai baht per person or 40,000 Thai baht per family, travel documents, a proof of accommodation and confirmed return onward tickets. And it's processed via the Thai e-visa system with processing times taking up to 15 business days. So don't do it on the day before your flight. Now, in both cases, you'll have to apply for the single-entry tourist visa or the multiple-entry tourism visa from outside of Thailand. But for those people who are thinking of coming, maybe you've already booked and you're worried about this possible change of the visa exemption system, the visa-free system, from 60 back to 30 days. Maybe if you got a single entry or multiple entry tourist visa, you could come without having to worry about it, and you know that you'll be able to extend if you want to for another 30 days. The cost of that is 1,900 baht if you want to do an extension. Anyway, hopefully that's been of a bit of interest. Be interesting to see if the numbers do start to swell as we include for the latter part of February into early March, the Chinese New Year. So the tourism numbers, they're heading for 35 million this year, but currently they can say that at least for the first 6 weeks, the numbers were down 7.6% compared to last year. So it will be an interesting year to see what happens with tourism. Tourism operators, of course, hoping the numbers start to swell, and a lot of people happy that at least the Chinese numbers are starting to return. Okay, interested to hear what you have to say in the comments section. Thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time.